The Rams make a surprising move to bring back a former Rams player from 7 years ago. We're going to talk about why it's a huge move specifically for the preseason. We're also going to talk about preseason game number 2, what we are looking out for in that game, all that and more, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and before we get too far into today's video, I want to ask you guys a favor. If you guys are not currently subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor and consider pressing that subscribe button now. Right now, we currently sit at about 60% of you guys who are watching the videos, but you're still not currently subscribed to the channel. That means you're enjoying the content, you like what you see, you're coming back for more, but you're not subscribed to the channel. Just do us a favor, consider pressing that subscribe button if you are one of those people who keep coming back for more and you like what you see, you want more daily Rams content. It helps us out a ton if you support the channel in that way by just subscribing to the channel. So do us a favor, if you haven't done so just yet, consider pressing that subscribe button before you go today. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple things here. First up, we're going to talk about why the Rams have made this big move for the preseason, especially when we're talking about the receiver room. First up, we're talking about the Rams receiver, Mario Williams. He was a player who just dealt with the injury, a hamstring injury in the preseason game. So the Rams have waived Mario Williams with an injury designation after he suffered that hamstring in the preseason game. With 2 preseason games remaining, the team needed another body at wide receiver. You know, Devontae's not playing, Puka Nacua is not playing. So obviously the Rams need to go out and get another receiver. So what do the Rams do? They go out and sign a familiar face to the Rams roster. Alex Bachman is making a return to where his NFL career started. I'm going to pull up a picture of him and I'm going to go full screen because my goodness, my computer, it slows down every single episode. I apologize for the videos always slowing down on y'all. Honestly, I'm trying to figure it out. Still haven't, obviously, so we'll figure it out at some point. But Alex Bachman, most recently with the Las Vegas Raiders, just turned 30 years of age. He was actually originally signed with the Rams as an undrafted free agent back in 2019. Since then, he's bounced around the league with the Giants, the Texans, and the Raiders. He only has 5 career receptions. So you're asking yourself, well, why is this guy important? Why is this a huge move? Well, the Rams, obviously, again, a huge move because the Rams need bodies right now in the preseason. So it's huge because you want to see these guys go out there. You want to see the receiver room impress. Who knows? This 30-year-old receiver might go out there and absolutely ball out in his only 2 opportunities for the rest of the preseason. That could be a thing for sure. But specifically, it's huge because the Rams, obviously, it's a guy who 5 career receptions is not necessarily the number 1 receiver out there. I think the biggest thing is going to be the special teams ability. What can Alex Bachman do in the special teams category? What can he bring to the table? That's going to be where he probably wins his opportunity if he is able to win that opportunity with the last 2 preseason games he has. I mean, look at these stats so far in the NFL. Not much action for him in the NFL thus far. 13 games for the Las Vegas Raiders, but those all came from special teams. 3 targets, 2 receptions, kind of a short yardage type of guy. And so, not really impressive resume thus far, but how does a guy stay in the NFL for 7 seasons but not really make much noise in terms of the receiver room? Actually, he tells his story. We can pull this up in a second, but he tells his story on a podcast. I watched a little bit of it. I don't want to shout anybody's podcast out here. I'll just show you guys a thumbnail, though. I think it was called Stories Untold is this woman's podcast. Longest tenured NFL practice player, that's Alex Bachman. He actually came out on this podcast and talked about it, saying that he is legitimately the longest tenured player in the NFL history in terms of a practice squad player. And the reason why he knows this is a fact is because back when he came into the league in 2019, it was a 2 years max for practice squad players. Not sure why that was a move back in the past, but essentially practice squad players had 2 years to get an opportunity, take advantage of their practice squad opportunity, make an NFL roster. If they didn't make that roster, then therefore they had to go out and move on from their opportunities in the NFL. However, because of COVID, Alex Bachman got his opportunity. I'm a little distracted because I'm so slow right here, but so I'm going to go keep it full screen again. He was able to take advantage of the COVID rules being changed around the time he was in the NFL. COVID happened. They said, we're going to have to expand the practice squad to 16 players, allow veteran players to be on practice squads because inevitably in every locker room, right, someone was going to get COVID. Therefore, you had to move players up and down from the practice squad. You needed guys who were actually ready to play NFL level football. That's why at that time a lot of veterans signed. So Alex Bachman has been able to impress enough to stay on practice squads. He's been able to do enough to stay on practice squads, do enough on special teams, especially contribute enough on special teams to have him stick around in the NFL at this point in his NFL career. So good for him on that. Hopefully he goes out and makes some noise for the Rams this preseason. It's going to be another name for us to watch in the preseason. We're going to talk about some other names to watch in the game 2 of the preseason, but probably more of a depth piece for sure for Alex Bachman, less than a more serious kind of 53-man roster push. For him, I think in his career, still wants to continue to try to make a practice squad. Of course, he wants to play on an NFL roster, but with the depth the Rams already have at the receiver room, special teams unit, if he can flash there, that's going to be key for him, especially. It's not a blockbuster move, we know, but it's the Rams making a practical preseason adjustment. They lose an injured young receiver, bring back a familiar veteran in Bachman, and give themselves extra depth heading towards the regular season. So good move for the Rams, huge for them in terms of what the preseason will look like moving forward. So excited to see what Alex Bachman can bring to the table. And speaking of that second preseason game, we definitely want to see some things out there from multiple pieces here. We're going to talk about Ty Simpson in a second, but speaking of the receiver room, we know we want to see Xavier Smith, right? We talked about this earlier in this offseason. One of the names that I think I was excited for, looking out for in the preseason, honestly, was Xavier Smith. And the reason why is because I kind of feel bad for the guy. I know there's a lot of Rams fans who are going to sit out there and say, we don't feel bad for him. We'd hate him. Take him off the roster. And I think I said something along those lines during the live stream when he actually made that fumble. I said, take him out the game. Don't let him touch the field ever again. And especially because you had that moment where the punt return previously seemed to be kind of jumbled and kind of mishandled just a little bit, and I felt like the Rams should have made a change then. They don't. He ends up fumbling the ball away on a punt return, muffs the punt, and the Rams end up losing the NFC Championship game. Very heartbreaking, very sad to see that happen. But I don't want a player's career to be over, right? Once the dust has settled, the game has ended, the Rams lost. That's not necessarily the number one reason why the Rams lost the game. It was a huge piece to it for sure, but not the number one reason why the Rams lost. So the Rams moving forward, I think, you know what? I'm rooting for this guy, Xavier Smith, to go out there and ball. And you know what? He actually had a pretty decent kind of moment there in the preseason. He had a couple catches. I think it was like 6 receptions for about 20-something yards. Or might have even had more yards than that. But overall, it's fine. He had decent moments, returned some punts. I saw some flashes of speed and some juice and some kind of a quickness there from Xavier Smith in that preseason game. So I'm excited to see him continue to succeed. I think he's a guy who's pushing more and more to stay on this Rams roster for the 53-man roster. And you really think about, the receiver room, what it's looking like. Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, we know. Jordan Whittington, we know. And honestly, because he didn't play in the first preseason game, Kanata Mumfield feels pretty safe on this roster as well. But another name the Rams are going to look for and be excited to see what he can do and contribute on offense, especially, is C.J. Daniels. A lot of us were excited to see him in the preseason, but I told you guys this in my preseason video. I know nobody really watched it, by the way. Go watch it if you want to see some of my thoughts before the preseason game happened. It was too late of a post for sure. I apologize for that. But C.J. Daniels, I said I'm not anticipating him to succeed that much in the preseason, to be honest. And the reason why is because I think he needs a quarterback like Matthew Stafford. Duh, right? Everyone needs a quarterback like Matthew Stafford to succeed. If they had a quarterback like Matthew Stafford, there'd be a lot of good-looking receivers out there in the NFL. But what I mean by that is the style of quarterback. Stetson Bennett and Ty Simpson are not going to say, please go catch this football, throw out there, trust my receiver to go out and make a play on this really tight pass. Matthew Stafford will make throws like that. And I think C.J. Daniels, he's shown flashes probably because when he's getting thrown balls from Matthew Stafford, and if it's Stetson Bennett, Ty Simpson throwing them up, it's probably them doing it because they're a little more comfortable in practice to take those chances versus when you're in a game situation, your career, your job kind of relies on your success. You might want to be a little bit safe with those passes in the game, right? So I think that's the key there. C.J. Daniels going to struggle to see those opportunities, I think, to succeed, because when he really succeeds, it's when the ball is getting thrown up. He goes out there and makes a big play on the football. Overall, I'm interested to see what he does and brings to the table for the remainder of the preseason. I mean, you look at his last preseason game, again, nothing really too crazy to get excited about. 2 receptions, 18 receiving yards, 9 yards per reception. It's not too bad. No touchdowns or anything. But the good thing, you see him on the sideline. You see him being positive. If you want an up-close view of what he was doing, by the way, don't forget the Rams Mic'd Up is live right now on their YouTube, and You have him mic'd up for this preseason game. I'll be honest with you guys, before you even watch it, spoiler alert, he's on the sidelines quite a bit. But what I like from seeing this video is he's on the sideline the entire time, still excited, still hyped up, still with a positive attitude, rooting for his teammates to succeed. He's even super excited to see, I think it was Dean Connors with a touchdown. He goes out there, celebrates with him a little bit, kind of hypes him up on the sideline as well. So that is cool. You want to see that stuff from your players. You want to see them positive, happy still, especially from receivers who can kind of be divas at times when they're not getting opportunities on the field. So definitely love to see him positive, laughing with Ty Simpson, even though maybe not getting the most targets from a quarterback like Ty Simpson. So definitely want to see that continue. If you guys want an up close and personal view of rooting for a guy like CJ Daniels, go root for him. You're going to want to root for him after watching this clip for sure. And here, the last but not least to talk about for preseason number 2, I want to see more of Ty Simpson. I want to see more of him. And by the way, I've already talked about this with Josh Feiners. I can't wait for 2 to 3 seasons from now, Joshua Feiners and I getting clipped for our reaction to Ty Simpson being drafted. Rams fans, bad, dumb reactions to Ty Simpson being drafted in the first round to Los Angeles Rams. I can't wait to be put on one of those kind of clips, because I am all in on what the Rams are doing here with Ty Simpson. Again, it kind of comes down to it. At the end of the day, once they drafted him, it is what it is. It's the right decision if that's what you really truly believe in. The Rams obviously truly believed in Ty Simpson over the other options in the draft, and so therefore they went and got him, and he looks really, really good. 21 of 25 passing attempts. That is amazing. 2 passing touchdowns. That is really good. Shout out to Dean Connors for that first touchdown, just really, really powering through some defenders there. But overall, Ty Simpson looked great. He looks really, really good rolling to his right. I like that. He looks really, really good throwing to the tight ends. We like that as well, because that's what Sean McVay's offense kind of brings to the table. So shout out to Ty Simpson. Want to see him continue to succeed. You know, I think Stetson Bennett maybe might hear some rumors. If you see another flashy Ty Simpson performance, might hear some rumors about him beating out Stetson Bennett for the backup quarterback role. Overall, whatever Sean McVay decides, I'm happy with and I trust. But right now, Ty Simpson looks like, honestly, possibly the best quarterback in this draft class in terms of what he did so far. I know other quarterbacks have had some success. Fernando Mendoza had some success. I really liked what I saw from Ty Simpson. Not perfect by any means. Nobody can be perfect out there on the football field, but I really like what Ty Simpson brought to the table. I am excited to continue to see Ty Simpson in the preseason. I think all of us want to see number 15 throwing the football out there, and would love to see him continue to learn, continue to grow from Sean McVay, and of course, Matthew Stafford. So I think that's kind of it for me. I'm going full screen here to give you guys a chance to not see me lagging so much, but overall, that is where I see it for the Los Angeles Rams. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, because when we're talking about the receiver room, right, I talked about Xavier Smith, I talked about CJ Daniels. Honestly, I was thinking one of those guys may have to be cut, but it kind of looks like those guys could make the roster if the Rams want to have 6 roster spots for their receiver position specifically during the regular season. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are you most excited for in the NFL preseason? Is it Ty Simpson, CJ Daniels, Max Clare? Who is it? A defender maybe? Who are you most excited to watch out for in game 2 of the preseason for the Los Angeles Rams? Probably not going live for this game either. I know it's preseason. Maybe some of you guys want to watch it, but overall for us, busy schedules right now. We're going to open up once the NFL season gets ready to roll, and we'll be back live streaming on the Rams Digest channels. You won't miss the Rams Digest live streams if you guys subscribe to the channel. Do me a favor, consider pressing that subscribe button before you go. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode. I am your host, Josh Giron, and I'm